Welcome to the Running Library. Today we're breaking down the key ideas from Mindset by Carol Dweck. Let's get into it. The fastest way to get better at almost anything isn't a new technique. It's changing what you believe improvement even is. Carol Dweck's book Mindset is a psychology classic about two different ways people interpret ability, as something fixed or as something that can grow. And that one difference, how you explain success, failure, effort, talent, and feedback, can quietly shape your motivation, your relationships, your learning, and even the culture of a school or workplace. At a high level, Dweck argues that many of us operate with a fixed mindset in at least some areas of life. In a fixed mindset, you treat ability like a trait. You either have it or you don't. That makes every challenge feel like a test of your worth, and every mistake feel like proof you're not good enough. The alternative is the growth mindset, where ability is viewed as something you can develop through learning, strategies, and persistence. In that mindset, challenges aren't threats. They're information. Mistakes aren't identity. They're feedback. Now, mindset isn't saying, just believe and you can do anything. Dweck is careful about that. People differ in starting points, opportunities, and constraints. But the book's core message is that your beliefs about talent and intelligence influence your behavior, and your behavior influences your outcomes far more than most people realize. So, who is this book for? It's for students and lifelong learners who feel like they should already be good at something and get stuck when they're not. It's for parents and teachers who want to encourage kids without accidentally teaching them to fear failure. It's for managers, coaches, and leaders building a culture where people either hide mistakes or learn from them. And it's for anyone who notices they avoid certain challenges because they don't want to feel incompetent. Who might not love it? If you're looking for a step-by-step performance system with detailed drills, this isn't that. It's more of a lens than a toolkit, though we'll build a simple action plan at the end. Also, if you're allergic to stories from sports, education, and business used to illustrate psychology concepts, that's a big chunk of the book's style. And finally, if you prefer a strictly academic tone with heavy technical detail, Mindset is written for a general audience. Let's get into 6 key takeaways, each with a practical example, so you can hear the ideas in motion, not just as labels. First takeaway. A fixed mindset, it turns life into a constant verdict. In a fixed mindset, you're not just doing a task, you're proving something about yourself. If you succeed, you're smart. If you struggle, you're not. That creates a fragile kind of confidence that depends on always looking capable. Example, you sign up for a class, say, learning a language. The first few lessons feel easy, then the grammar gets messy. Your pronunciation feels embarrassing, and suddenly you start skipping practice. Not because you don't care, but because each mistake feels like evidence you're bad at languages. The fixed mindset doesn't just dislike failure, it interprets failure as identity. Dweck's point is that this mindset can make you chase situations where you look smart, rather than situations where you become smarter. Second takeaway, a growth mindset isn't about being positive. It's about being strategic. People sometimes misunderstand growth mindset as try hard and you'll succeed. But Dweck's more precise idea is that growth mindset focuses on process, effort, strategies, feedback, and time. Effort matters, but so does how you're spending it. If a strategy isn't working, you don't just push harder, you adjust. Example. 2 people are preparing for an exam. One rereads notes for hours because it feels productive. The other tests themselves, gets questions wrong, and uses that to target weak areas. The second person may feel less confident in the moment because practice is exposing gaps. But that discomfort is exactly what learning feels like. Growth mindset is the willingness to engage with that discomfort and improve the method, not just the mood. Third takeaway, praise can accidentally create a fixed mindset. One of the most famous parts of mindset is how the type of praise we give can shape what someone learns to value. Praise that focuses on innate traits like "you're so smart" or "you're a natural" can teach people that being talented is the goal and struggling is a problem. In contrast, praising process like persistence, strategies, focus, and improvement can encourage resilience. Example: a child brings home a high score. If the message is "you're brilliant," the child may start protecting that label. Next time the work is harder, they might avoid it, because failing would threaten brilliant. If the message is "I'm proud of how you prepared and stuck with it," the child learns that success comes from controllable actions. The difference is subtle, but it changes what the child tries to protect: an image or a process. And this applies to adults too. In workplaces, "you're a rock star" can feel good, but it can also make people hide uncertainty. "I appreciate how you iterated and asked for feedback early" builds a healthier standard. Fourth takeaway: the way you interpret setbacks determines whether you learn or spiral. Dweck describes how fixed mindset responses to failure often include helplessness, defensiveness, or avoidance. Growth mindset responses treat failure as data. What happened? What can I change? What do I need to learn? Example: you give a presentation and it goes poorly. In a fixed mindset, the internal script becomes, "I'm terrible at public speaking. Everyone saw I'm not cut out for this." So you avoid presenting again, which guarantees you never improve. In a growth mindset, the script becomes, "My structure wasn't clear and I didn't rehearse with the timer. Next time I'll outline 3 main points, practice out loud, and ask someone to critique the opening." Same event, different meaning, different future. This is one of the most useful parts of the book. It's not that growth mindset people love failure, it's that they don't treat failure as a final diagnosis. Fifth takeaway: mindsets show up in relationships, not just school or work. Mindset isn't only about intelligence. People can have fixed beliefs about personality, compatibility, and conflict. Like, "if we really loved each other, it would be easy," or "people don't change." Those beliefs can make normal relationship friction feel like a sign that something is fundamentally wrong. Example: 2 partners argue about a recurring issue, say communication. A fixed mindset view of relationships might say, "we're just not compatible," or "they'll never change." A growth mindset approach says, "this is a skill we can build. We can learn better ways to talk about hard things." That doesn't mean staying in unhealthy situations. It means not confusing hard with hopeless, and not confusing conflict with failure. Even friendships benefit from this. If you assume people are fixed, you stop having the conversations that could actually deepen trust. Sixth takeaway: culture can have a mindset. Teams and organizations amplify either fear or learning. Dweck extends mindset beyond individuals. When a school, team, or company rewards looking smart over getting better, people become risk averse. They hide mistakes, avoid hard problems, and do what's safe. In a learning-oriented culture, people can admit errors early, ask for help, and improve faster. Example: think about 2 workplaces. In one, the unwritten rule is, don't bring up problems unless you already have the perfect solution, and never admit you don't know. In the other, people can say, "here's what I tried, here's what failed, and here's what I learned." Which one will innovate more? Which one will burn people out with anxiety? Mindset becomes contagious because it's reinforced by what gets rewarded: image or improvement. Now, before we jump into an action plan, it's worth adding a nuance that helps keep the book grounded. You don't have one mindset forever. Dweck emphasizes that mindsets can be domain-specific. You might have a growth mindset about your career, but a fixed mindset about art, or growth about fitness, but fixed about math. And you can flip into fixed mindset under stress, criticism, or comparison. The goal isn't to label yourself as a growth mindset person. The goal is to notice the fixed mindset voice when it shows up and respond differently. So let's turn this into something you can actually use. Here's a simple 3-step action plan to apply mindset without making it cheesy or abstract. Step 1. Identify your fixed mindset triggers and write down the script. For the next week, notice when you feel unusually defensive, ashamed, or eager to quit. Those moments often point to a fixed mindset trigger: a challenge, a comparison, criticism, or a setback. When it happens, write one sentence that captures the automatic thought. Examples: I'm not good at this. If I ask for help, they'll think I'm incompetent. I failed, so I'm a failure. This isn't about judging yourself. It's about catching the story your brain is telling before it becomes your behavior. Step 2. Translate the script into a growth-minded question. Don't force yourself into fake optimism. Instead, ask a better question, one that points to learning and strategy. Try translations like, what part of this can I improve with practice? What strategy am I using, and what else could I try? What feedback would help me most right now? What would progress look like in 2 weeks? What's one small rep I can do today that makes this easier tomorrow? This step matters because it turns mindset from a belief into a decision-making tool. A fixed mindset statement is often a closed door. A growth mindset question reopens the room. Step 3. Build a process goal and a feedback loop. Outcome goals are fine. Get the grade, land the job, ship the project. But mindset pushes you to add process goals, behaviors you control that lead to improvement. Pick one area and set a process goal that's measurable. Examples: I'll do 20 minutes of deliberate practice 3 times a week. I'll draft, get feedback, and revise instead of trying to be perfect on the first try. After each attempt, I'll write down one thing that worked and one thing to change. Then add a feedback loop, a person, a test, or a review ritual. Growth mindset thrives on feedback because feedback becomes information, not humiliation. As we wrap up, here's the core of mindset in one clean sentence. Your abilities aren't just what you have, they're also what you build, and the story you tell yourself about struggle determines whether you keep building. If you take nothing else from this book, take this. The moment you feel the urge to prove yourself is often the exact moment you should shift into learning mode. Replace do I have it with how do I grow it? Replace this means I'm not good with this means I'm not done. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more psychology and book-based ideas that actually change how you operate day to day, this is the Running Library, where we read the books and you get the best parts. Let me know in the comments. Where do you notice a fixed mindset showing up most for you? Work, relationships, creativity, or something else? If you found this summary helpful, subscribe to the Running Library for new insights every day. And tell me in the comments what book or article you want next.